The stage in Muhammad's development.
So a lot of people didn't know that this Sharia law city that was being pushed in Texas, that now the Attorney General Ken Paxton, who is the runner-up against John Cornyn for Texas State Senate to run against James Tallarico, that's coming up very soon. And I don't know how you guys feel, but Ken Paxton is my guy right now, and I'll tell you why. But here we go. So we got breaking development about what is happening with the Islamic takeover of Texas. Many call it that because that's what's happening here. Take a listen, right? Let's look. The development of potential Sharia city in Kaufman County has ended following the investigation from Attorney General Ken Paxton. He says, my office will work tirelessly to end any illegal scheme that seeks to subvert the Constitution and disrupt the American way of life. Now, this is huge, and many of you guys probably don't know. Before I read this letter and go anywhere deep here, this was exactly what was happening in Texas that a lot of people have been paying attention to when it comes to the Islamic takeover of the United States of America that many people have talked about. A lot of Christians are stepping up to the plate here to really talk about, you know, what this is and what's happening. So the DOJ, remember the DOJ had launched an investigation, a Muslim development in Texas for engaging in religious discrimination and attempting to implement Sharia law. Now, let's actually take a look here. For those who don't know, this is what it would have been like, and then we'll get into what's actually going on in the update. But this is crazy.
Welcome to the future of living. Welcome to Epic City. Nestled in the heart of Josephine, Texas, it is about 20 miles and 20 minutes from Epic. Commercial areas,
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
Welcome to Epic 2.0.
So again, you guys get the point as to what they were building, the neighborhood they were building, Epic City being a real thing, not a conspiracy theory. You know, this was something that, you know, was supposed to be created here. And there was an investigation launched, you know, by, of course, the Attorney General of Texas over this and why this is very important. So the development of potential Sharia city in Kaufman County ends following investigation by Attorney General Ken Paxton. Austin, following investigation by Attorney General Ken Paxton, plans for development of a potential unlawful Sharia city community in Kaufman County has ended. In early February of 2026, residents raised concerns about a foreign-based development company's plan to purchase thousands of acres near Kaufman, Texas. The developers plan to create a sustainable city with the potential of to house about 20,000 foreign nationals, alarmed by the surrounding communities. Not only could the influx of tens of thousands of foreign nationals into rural Texas pose national security risk, but residents also fear the strain that such a development could take place on the local water supplies. On February 9th, 2026, Attorney General Ken Paxton announced his office's investigation into potentially unlawful Sharia city development in Kaufman County. As part of the investigation, requests examine RTEs were sent to developers, including a U.S. subsidiary of Dubai-based development company SEE Holding. Congressman Lance Gooden has now officially confirmed that the developers decided to end their proposed plans in Kaufman County. All right, so here is and I quote, "Because of the risk posed by infiltration of Sharia law into Texas, my office will work tirelessly to end the illegal scheme that seeks to subvert the Constitution and disrupt the American way of life," said Attorney General Ken Paxton. "I'm glad to see that the developers of this Sharia city in Kaufman County have ceased their operations following my office's investigation. My office will continue to investigate any potential threat to safety and well-being of Texans." So this is a huge, huge deal, especially as to, you know, a lot of people. we're talking about this. And, this isn't something that, many people want at all. And of course, getting into the race, when we get into the race of what is happening between John Cornyn and Ken Paxton, many people are raising the question to John Cornyn. So here's this post that went viral, right? So Ken Paxton is out here shutting down Sharia cities in Texas. John Cornyn is out here saying, inshallah. They're basic people are saying you better pick your fighter to Trump, because Trump has to endorse one of these guys for the runner-up of what's going on with the Texas State Senate, to run against James Tallarico, who would 100% allow this. Take a listen.
This is what happens in the leadership race. Are you certain that you will run for re-election in 2020? Yeah. You are.
Yeah. Do you think the Texas? I mean, God willing.
Well, yeah. I mean, exactly. Senator, what does it cost?
Inshallah.
There you go. He says inshallah. So this people saw this and freaked out, and they were like, "Oh man, this dude is like, this is what's going on here. We're just like John Cornyn would, he would 100% allow a Sharia city, epic city, where again Islam take over. So I think it's a fair criticism to something like this being built in the United States of America, especially when a lot of residents who are Christian, they don't want that. They don't want that at all. And that's needed to say, because the criticisms are going to come from the right. A lot of right wingers will be like, "But you got to have the same energy with the Jews having their own city in New York." I got the same energy with any other people that come into the United States of America who do not believe that Jesus Christ is the Messiah, creating cities and doing all these things. I just do. I keep the same energy with everybody that I could, and make the videos. I don't care who gets mad at me, but if people are creating cities and creating cultures counter to what Christianity is supposed to be in this country, a lot of Christians, you have to fight back against that stuff. Like if people are saying, they're coming out and they're saying Christ is king is anti-Semitic, I have a huge problem with that, right? Saying Christ is king is not anti-Semitic, because we believe that Christ is king. We believe Jesus Christ is the Messiah. So I saw this, coming from Will Kane, who is a friend of the show. We spoken to Will Kane, and Randy Ogles is demanding immediate passage of legislation to save America from mass third world migration, the Assimilation Act. So I thought that was very interesting. So the Assimilation Act is supposed to end chain migration scam. People say, calling it a scam, end chain migration scam. And you'll know why Randy Ogles is saying this, because I thought it was a very, very good argument. It requires good moral character, fully merit-based, no diversity lottery, tighter vetting. Look at our communities, look at Europe, you can see what's coming. And of course, when you look at Europe, you look at the UK, bro, Islam is taking over. And when you look at New York and you look at, like, a lot of my friends have literally gone from, like, a lot of them grew up Christian, they flat out just turned Muslim. And I have a problem with that. Like, I have a problem with how in the world is it that, what are we doing as Christians that is not, like, we got to do a better job. Like, a lot of these young people are seeing Islam as better than Christianity. You know what I'm saying? So we'll talk about that more and more, but let me know what you guys think about this as far as fixing the immigration system, the legal immigration system. Take a listen.
He's leading a new bill that would reverse key portions of the Hart-Sellers Act. That's the 1965 Immigration Act. It would shift it away from these family sponsorships, family reunification, and back toward answering the essential question. When you come to America, not only do you want to be an American, but do you love America? Now joining me is Congressman from Tennessee, Republican Andy Ogles. Congressman, it's great to have you on the program. I've seen a lot of what you've been talking about, familiar with your proposed bill. I think it's entitled the Assimilation Act. Tell me why this has been so important to you. This is a cause that you almost single-handedly have been fighting. Why?
Well, I mean, just look at our communities. And one of the things in particular, I mean, obviously we see it here at home, but we can look to Europe to see what's coming down the pipe, what's on the horizon. So you can look at London, you can look at Paris, you can look at Rome, where in Rome, roughly 70 to 80% of sex crimes are illegals. Again, when you look at Paris and you look at London, the same types of 50 to 60% of sex crimes are illegals or these migrants. And so now we've got to get serious. Because like you said, we've had these terrorist attacks. You had the shooting in Virginia, the shooting in Texas. You had the attempted bombing in New York. You had the car ramming in Michigan. And all of these individuals hate America. They don't like who we are, what we believe in. They don't love this country. And quite frankly, this idea that you can come here, this chain migration, because look, annually under chain migration, this family migration, it's roughly 700,000 people. My bill will take that down to 50,000 people. So you actually have to have a reason to be here, and you actually have to be the immediate family, not some distant cousin, uncle, whatever. And so this is a pragmatic approach. And so before 1965, before Hart-Celler, we had a reasonable immigration program. After 1965, you've seen it be passed. Then you have this floodgate.
So again, Assimilation Act, that is an idea that he is proposing into Congress. And the reason why I think stuff like that is very, very important that we talk about, because here's an uncomfortable truth that I think we should 100% talk about. A lot of this stuff, a lot of these progressives and a lot of these white liberal progressives, they're the ones that are really pushing for stuff like this because of their hatred for like the United States of America and their hatred for Christianity. No one really hates Christianity more than like a white liberal woman. Have you ever heard them talk about Christianity? So they're the ones that are really, really pushing the country toward, I don't know, just welcoming anybody in, as long as they're not white, or as long as they're not, no one hates their own people more than white progressives. I gotta say it. I know it's an uncomfortable truth, but when you look at the leaders of the United States of America, of the Democrat Party, a lot of them, okay, who votes for it? Who votes for Ilhan Omar the most? When you look at by the numbers, yeah, she has a community of like Somalis that are going to vote for her, but most of them are liberal progressives, white liberal progressives, by and large numbers that go out of their way to vote for people that don't even love America. So how did we get to Sharia city? How did we get to all these other religions taking part? This, right? And a lot of that stuff, you have to take into account, in my opinion. And I just think that, if I make this video, I don't want to make this video over religious because it's still political. But aside from politics, I don't think we do a good job as Christians sometimes sharing the gospel. Who was Matthew? Who was Jesus? Right? What was the objective of Jesus coming and dying for us and being resurrected? That's something the Muslims don't believe, that Jesus, that they believe that Jesus died on the cross. We don't believe that. We believe that because of historical facts and, the 500 eyewitnesses that saw him in the resurrection, we believe that Jesus Christ was more than just the Son of God, as many people would say, or a prophet. We don't believe in Muhammad, and our split from a lot of non-Messianic Jews is that as well, is that Jesus wasn't just a prophet. Like I heard Ben Shapiro come out and said on the Joe Rogan podcast, saying that Jesus was just some guy trying to overthrow the government of Rome during the time. So there's a lot of different moving factors as to how did the United States of America get to this place. And so I think it's very interesting, but this is a step in, I believe, the right direction when it comes to Christianity, and a huge win for Christian people. And another thing I saw that went very viral, there was a video that a lot of leftists like to use, and I hope people don't feel this way. But unfortunately, these videos that do go viral is a woman wearing a MAGA hat saying that if Jesus, I guess somebody asked her, if Jesus was to come through the border, would you let him in? It's Jesus Christ. If Jesus Christ is back, like, it's Jesus Christ. I don't care what Jesus looks like. You know what I'm saying? We are letting Jesus Christ in. There is no borders existing for Jesus Christ. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I think stuff like that, people see stuff like that and they just think about, you know, people who are very prideful and being in the United States of America, that they're not really that Christian because they won't even let Jesus in. Because so all these things, they form this snowball effect of making people divert away from like Christianity, in my opinion. So there's a lot of different moving pieces. There are some people that don't even believe in Christianity watching this video right now. They do not care about religion. They don't care about Jesus Christ. And look, a lot of them are just very proud Americans, and as they should be. But I am a Christian before I am anything else. I am a believer in Jesus Christ before I am anything else. So let me know what you guys think. A huge win, in my opinion, in Texas from Ken Paxton versus John Cornyn. What is Trump going to do there? Who is he going to endorse? That's a very, very big question. A lot of people are, you know, and I think a lot of people are very happy with this news about Sharia City, aka Epic City, out in Texas. So love you guys. I'll see you guys on the next one.